Bullies slapped a disabled girl in a diner. An hour later, bikers walked in. The diner was almost empty when the screaming began. Plates rattled, forks paused midway through bites, and every gaze snapped. To the booth in the corner where a teenage girl flinched under the harsh light. Her hands trembled as she tried to raise the straw to her lips, the brace on her wrist making it awkward. She had cerebral palsy. Everyone in town knew. That yet the three boys towering over her didn't seem to care. One of them slapped the drink from her hand, the liquid splashing across her shirt. The girl didn't cry. She just stared at the table, shoulders quivering, as if her body no longer belonged to her. The eldest boy leaned in, his voice low and venomous. Freaks shouldn't eat where normal people do. Another boy chuckled and shoved her head sideways so it hit the wall. A sharp gasp came from the waitress, but she froze, her courage dissolving under the boys' smirking eyes. They were trouble. The kind who enjoyed watching people fear them more than anything else. The girl tried to speak, but her words came out slow and slurred. Please, stop. The boy imitated her voice cruelly, exaggerating every syllable. The diner erupted in quiet horror. No one moved. No one dared. The girl's mother had stepped away to the restroom for only 1 minute, and now her daughter was trapped. When the mother returned, she froze where she stood, mouth trembling, heart choking her breath. Don't touch my daughter. But the eldest boy laughed. He slapped the girl hard across the face, so hard the sound echoed off the tiled walls. The mother lunged forward, but another boy shoved her away. She stumbled, hitting a metal napkin holder that clattered to the floor. Something inside her broke then, something deeper than fear, deeper than pain. Someone help us, she whispered, but the room remained silent. The boys finally walked out laughing, leaving the girl hunched over the table, her cheek bright red, tears falling silently onto her trembling hands. The mother held her daughter close, shaking uncontrollably. The humiliation, the helplessness, the cruelty, they all settled into her bones like a disease. She looked around at the diners who refused to meet her eyes. No one stood up. No one defended them. And that betrayal cut almost as deeply as the abuse itself. She paid the bill with trembling fingers, gathered her daughter's fallen belongings, and whispered, "We're leaving." But her daughter shook her head weakly and pointed to the window. Outside, the boys were still there, leaning against their truck, waiting, mocking as if daring them to step out. Fear twisted into panic. The mother gripped her daughter's hand. "We'll wait until they leave." But the girl, voice soft as fragile glass, whispered, "Mom, I'm scared." And suddenly the mother hated herself for allowing fear to choke her voice earlier. She should have fought. She should have screamed. She should have done anything other than trembling like a powerless shadow, while her daughter suffered. Minutes dragged like hours. The bullies finally drove off, tires screeching, laughter fading into the distance. The mother stood, her legs weak but determined. She helped her daughter up, brushing her cheek gently. "Let's go home, sweetheart." But fate had one more cruelty left. As they stepped outside, something made the eldest bully turn his truck back around, as though he realized he had missed one last chance to make someone suffer. The truck swerved dangerously close to them, and the mother screamed, pulling her daughter back to the curb. The truck roared past, boys shouting insults out the window. The mother collapsed against her daughter, sobbing softly. Why would they do that to you?" Her daughter didn't answer. She simply wrapped her arms around her mother, her small body shaking with a pain that went too deep for words. The diner owner stepped outside then, guilt heavy on his face. "Ma'am, I'm sorry. I should have stepped in. We all should have." The mother looked at him with hollow eyes. Sorry won't protect her. He opened his mouth to say something else, but he stopped when the distant rumble of engines rolled across the street like thunder. Several motorcycles, big, loud chrome beasts, turned into the parking lot. The riders wore black leather, patches stitched across their jackets. Tattoos covered their arms. Beards, scars, cold expressions. They looked like trouble. Everyone in the diner stiffened. The bikers parked in a row, engines cutting off one by one, silence falling heavy in their wake. People whispered nervously, but the mother didn't move. Her daughter leaned into her, frightened. The bikers walked toward the diner, 6 of them, boots thudding in unison, shadows long and intimidating. The leader, a huge man with ice blue eyes, stopped near the mother. He noticed the red handprint still burning on the girl's cheek. His jaw tightened dangerously. "Who hit the kid?" he asked quietly. No one answered. The cold fury in his eyes promised something that made the air tremble. The mother swallowed hard. "Please, just let us go home. We don't want more trouble." The biker crouched down so he was eye level with the girl. His voice was shockingly gentle. "Sweetheart, did someone hurt you?" The girl hesitated, her hands twisting anxiously. She nodded once. The biker stood, fists clenching at his sides. Another biker stepped forward. "We saw some punks in a truck peel out of here like idiots." "That them?" The mother looked away, torn between fear and relief, guilt and hope. "Please, it's done." But the leader shook his head slowly. "No, when someone hurts a child, especially one who can't fight back, it's not done." The mother's voice cracked. "They're just boys." "Boys don't slap disabled girls," the biker growled. "Cowards do." The mother felt something shift in her chest, a weight. Lifting, replaced with something fierce and grateful. The bikers didn't go inside. Instead, the leader snapped his fingers, and one biker rolled his motorcycle back into position. "Take them home," the leader instructed. "No one's touching them again today." "Wait," the mother whispered. "Why are you helping us?" The leader looked at the girl again. His voice softened. "I had a sister like her." The biker who offered the ride smiled at the girl. "Come on, hun. Mom can ride in the truck with our support team." A support truck pulled up behind them, one she hadn't even noticed arriving. Two bikers helped the mother into the passenger seat. The girl sat between two leather-clad giants on the back of a massive motorcycle, her small hands gripping their vests. They rode slow, protecting her like she was made of starlight and silk. As they approached the main road, the Bullies truck suddenly came into view. The bikers exchanged a look. The leader tapped his engine twice, a signal. The Bullies saw the motorcycles, 6 of them blocking the road. Their laughter evaporated. The bikers parked in a semicircle around the truck. The boys inside panicked, scrambling to lock the doors. The leader walked up calmly, his boots crunching gravel, his shadow stretching across the hood. He knocked on the glass, the sound sharp and icy. "Roll it down." "No way, man," the eldest boy shouted through the glass. "We didn't do anything." The biker leaned closer, eyes burning with quiet fury. "You slapped a little girl. You shoved her mother. You nearly ran them over. You think that's nothing?" One of the bikers tapped the truck bed with a metal ring on his glove. The clang echoed like a warning bell. The boys trembled. "We're sorry," the eldest boy shouted. "We didn't mean—" "Yes, you did." The leader's voice dropped to a whisper more terrifying than a shout. "But here's what you're gonna do. You're going to drive home. You're going to apologize to that girl and her mother tomorrow with your parents there, and you're going to pray I never hear you laid a finger on anyone again." The eldest boy nodded violently, eyes wide. "Good," the leader said, stepping back. "Now go." The boy sped off, but not before the eldest looked back and saw the little girl on the motorcycle, watching him with quiet strength. Shame twisted his face, real and painful. The biker leader nodded once, satisfied. They escorted the mother and daughter home, waiting until they were safely inside. The mother opened the door one last time. "I don't know how to repay you. You don't owe us anything," the leader said. "Just take care of her, and don't ever let fear silence you again." The girl reached out her hand. The biker took it gently. She whispered, "Thank you." The giant man's eyes softened. "You're tougher than any of them. Don't forget that." The engine started up again, roaring like protective thunder as they rode away into the fading sunlight. The mother held her daughter close, tears streaming silently. For the first time that day, they felt safe. And the bullies in town never touched another soul again. That night, long after the engines had faded into the distance, the mother found herself unable to sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the slap. The way her daughter's head had jerked. The way fear had frozen her own body. She sat at the edge of the bed, hands covering her face, guilt crushing her chest like a weight she couldn't lift. Her daughter stirred softly. "Mom, you're crying." The mother quickly wiped her cheeks. "No, sweetheart. I'm okay." But her daughter, fragile and brave, shook her head. "You're not. You were scared. I was too, but they helped us." Those words, simple, true, cut through the fog clouding the mother's heart. She exhaled shakily. "Yes, they did. The girl reached out with trembling fingers and placed her small hand over her. Mother's. You're strong, Mom. The mother broke then, not in fear but in relief. She pulled her daughter close, kissing the top of her head. You're the strong one, my love. You always have been. Outside, a distant motorcycle engine rumbled somewhere on the main road, faint but steady, like a silent guardian making one last sweep of the night. The mother froze. Do you hear that? The girl smiled. They're checking. It felt impossible, yet somehow she knew it was true. The bikers had left, yes, but not completely. They were the kind of men who didn't save someone and forget them. They carried faces, memories, scars in their hearts like permanent ink. A sudden knock jolted them both. The mother tensed. Stay here, she whispered, stepping lightly toward the door. But before fear could swallow her again, a familiar voice called out. It's just us. Sorry to startle you. She opened the door to see the same leather-clad giants from earlier, this time with warm smiles, instead of hardened expressions. The leader held up a paper bag. Figured you two might not have eaten much after everything. Brought dinner. Her throat tightened. You didn't have to. We know, another biker said gently. We wanted to. The mother stepped aside. Please, come in. They sat in the small living room, their massive frame somehow making the space feel safer, not smaller. One biker handed the girl a soft toy, an old patched-up stuffed bear. This belonged to my sister, he said softly. She would have wanted you to have it. The girl held it like a treasure, eyes shining. The leader leaned forward. Listen, tomorrow if you want, we'll be there when those boys apologize. Not to scare them, just to make sure they mean it. The mother nodded, tears falling again. I don't know how to thank you all. You already did, he said. You asked for help, even without words. And we heard you, the girl whispered. Are you our friends now? The big man smiled. As long as you want us to be. For the first time in years, the house didn't feel lonely.